Hello and welcome to Middle East Business Report. I'm Dyala Sabbagh. You join us this week at Dubai's Gold Souk, the biggest jewellery retail market in the Middle East. Now, Dubai wants to build on the souk's reputation and also become a global centre for the diamond trade. But an exchange it set up 3 years ago has had a rather lacklustre start. So what can the city do to make it sparkle? Also coming up on this week's programme. But shortly after the report was published, President Bush ordered 20,000 extra troops to Iraq. It was seen at the time as a direct contradiction of the Baker-Hamilton plan. But James Baker explained to me that the troop surge was in fact one of his recommendations.
You know, the ISG report contained a provision for a surge. We now have a surge going on. It contained a provision recommending that there be a meeting of all of Iraq's neighbors. There are many other recommendations that have been implemented as well. Enhanced training, embedding U.S. forces in with the Iraqi forces and so forth.
Of the recommendations that have been implemented, for example, the 20,000 troop surge, essentially, what impact do you see that it's actually practically had on the ground?
Well, it's very early. It's really early to tell. Only 2 brigades of the 5 brigades have arrived on the scene, but even now there's been some reduction in the sectarian violence.
Crescent Petroleum has a contract with Iran to start importing gas. When are we going to see that gas start flowing into the UAE?
The date that we had been given a couple of months ago was May. We have spent well in excess of $1 billion, so we would hope that gas deliveries would flow very soon.
We're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, Dubai's bid to become the Paris of the Gulf. But what's it take to become a true fashion capital? Welcome back. Now, the United Arab Emirates has become one of the biggest destinations in the Middle East for foreign investment, thanks in large part to its network of free zones. Dubai now has an internet city, a media city, and a studio city. But as we've shown before on this programme, companies which base themselves there chiefly use these free zones as centres for sales and marketing. Now, the Emirate of Fujairah, which lies on the opposite side of Dubai in the UAE, is starting up a creative city, which it hopes will become a centre for original ideas and products. There is some talk that there is quite a significant resistance within India to foreign direct investment. Is that the case?
Ultimately, for the government of India, it has to keep India's interests first. And it is very conscious of the fact that it cannot speed up economic reforms to an extent that the poorest of the poor suffer. And there is a huge public revolt or a huge public outcry.
Well, that's it for Middle East Business Report. But before we go, let's take a look at how the financial markets performed in the region this week. And while the numbers are on the screen, let me give you our email address. It's thebiz@bbc.co.uk. Do write to us with any comments or questions you might have about this week's programme. Next week we'll be in Egypt, where we'll be seeing how they're trying to rediscover gold mines that were the source of all the pharaoh's wealth. But until then, from me, Dyala Sabbagh, and the rest of the team here, thank you for watching and goodbye.